The words hit me like a sucker punch to the gut, her laughter slicing through the humid air of our cramped apartment kitchen. "What, you think you're my only option?" Sarah's eyes sparkled with a cruel amusement I'd never seen before, her lips curling into a smirk that twisted her familiar face into something foreign, predatory. The argument had started over something trivial, her late nights at work, my nagging about respect, but now it detonated into this. My coffee mug slipped from my hand, shattering on the tile floor in a spray of dark liquid and ceramic shards that mirrored the splintering inside my chest. Fury boiled up, hot and immediate, but beneath it, a colder humiliation seeped in, rooting me to the spot as she grabbed her keys and walked out, the door slamming like a final verdict. I stood there, staring at the mess on the floor, the bitter scent of spilled coffee mingling with the faint lavender from her shampoo that still lingered in the air. My heart hammered, each beat echoing the betrayal in her words. Only option. After 3 years of building a life together, shared leases, whispered futures, the ring I'd been saving for, how could she reduce me to that? Denial crept in first, a whisper insisting it was just anger talking, a heat-of-the-moment jab. But her laugh, that wasn't scripted rage. It was genuine, laced with a secret glee that suggested depths I hadn't plumbed. I sank onto the stool, my hands trembling as I swept up the shards, each jagged piece pricking my skin like accusations. Was I blind? The late texts, the new perfume, the way she'd pull away when I reached for her in bed. It all flooded back, a montage of ignored red flags. That night sleep evaded me. The bedroom felt too empty, the sheets cold and accusing. I tossed, my mind a whirlwind of fantasies, storming into her office, confronting whatever option she had hidden, watching her face crumple in regret. But resentment festered deeper, turning those visions darker. I imagined her begging for forgiveness, her laughter replaced by tears, and a twisted satisfaction bloomed in my chest. No, I told myself, pushing it down. That's not me. I'm the steady one, the guy who fixes things, not breaks them. Yet, as the clock ticked past 2 a.m., the city lights flickering through the blinds like distant warnings, obsession took hold. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through our messages, dissecting every word for clues. They're a vague meeting with Alex from last week. Alex. Her coworker, the one with the slick smile and expensive suits. Heartbreak clawed at me, raw and unrelenting, but beneath it, a cold resolve began to form, like ice crystallizing in my veins. By morning, the apartment buzzed with a deceptive normalcy, the hum of the fridge, the drip of the faucet, but inside I was unraveling. Sarah texted a casual, "Sorry about last night, let's talk later," as if it were a minor spat. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Humiliation burned. How could she dismiss it so easily? I typed and deleted a dozen responses, each one angrier than the last, before settling on a neutral. Okay. But as I showered, the steam clouding the mirror, my reflection stared back with hollow eyes. Doubt gnawed. Was I overreacting? Maybe she meant it metaphorically, a jab at my insecurities. Well, her tone, that laugh, it was confession wrapped in mockery. I needed proof, something tangible to shatter the denial. Planning emerged subtly, a quiet strategy amid the chaos. I'd check her laptop when she wasn't looking, trace her steps. Fear flickered. What if I found nothing? Worse, what if I found everything? Work that day was a blur, the office fluorescents buzzing like angry bees in my skull. Colleagues chattered about deadlines, but I nodded mechanically, my mind elsewhere. During lunch, alone in the break room with its stale coffee smell and vending machine hum, resentment swelled. Sarah had always been the charismatic one, the marketer who charmed clients while I crunched numbers in accounting. Was that it? Did she see me as safe, predictable, while someone like Alex offered excitement? The thought fueled a bitter obsession, and by afternoon I was fantasizing again, exposing her, watching her world crumble as mine had. But guilt intruded, a sharp pang. Revenge? That's not love. Or was it? The moral conflict twisted inside me, a knot of right and wrong. I loved her, or thought I did, but this betrayal demanded justice. Not violence, no, something smarter, colder. When Sarah came home that evening, the tension hung thick, the air scented with takeout Chinese she'd picked up as a peace offering. "Hey," she said softly, setting the bags on the counter. Her voice laced with that manipulative sweetness she wielded like a weapon. I forced a smile, but my eyes lingered on her phone, buzzing silently on the table. "About last night," she continued, unpacking fried rice and egg rolls, the greasy aroma clashing with my nausea. "I was stressed, okay? Work's been hell." Her words felt rehearsed, revealing nothing but evasion. Suppressed rage simmered in me as I nodded, playing along. "Yeah, me too." We ate in uneasy silence, the clink of forks amplifying the unspoken rift. Inside, my thoughts raced. How many lies had she fed me like this? Doubt warred with certainty, but as she laughed at a TV show later, that same cruel edge in her voice, resolve hardened. I'd wait, watch, gather. Over the next days, the slow burn ignited. I feigned normalcy, morning kisses that tasted like ash, evenings of shared Netflix where her hand in mine felt like a trap. But secretly I delved deeper. One night, while she showered, the steam wafting from the bathroom like a veil, I slipped into her study. Her laptop sat open, password protected, but I knew it. Our anniversary date, a detail that now mocked me. Files scrolled by, work docs, photos, then emails. My heart pounded as I searched, Alex. There, threads of flirtation, plans for drinks after work. Betrayal confirmed, a visceral stab that left me breathless. Humiliation surged. I was the fool, the backup. Closing the laptop, I retreated to the couch, resentment coiling like a snake. Fantasies evolved. Not confrontation but sabotage. Ruin her professionally. Leak the emails anonymously. Moral conflict raged. She'd lose her job, her reputation. Was I that person? Fear of consequences loomed, but obsession drowned it out. The apartment became a stage for my inner turmoil. Mornings, the sunlight slanting through windows onto dust motes dancing like indifferent witnesses. Evenings, the city noise filtering in, horns, shouts, mirroring my chaotic thoughts. Sarah noticed my distance, her questions probing. "You okay? You seem off." I lied smoothly, "Just tired," but suppressed rage leaked in my tone, heightening the tension. She pulled away more, her phone glued to her hand, secrets humming beneath the surface. Subtle hints of my vengeance emerged. A deliberate glance at her screen, a pointed question about Alex that made her falter. "He's just a colleague," she snapped, but her eyes darted, manipulation cracking. Inside, I planned meticulously. Copy emails, trace her schedule. Guilt whispered, "Stop, forgive." But heartbreak echoed louder. "She laughed at you." One rainy afternoon, the downpour drumming against the windows like impatient fingers, I followed her. From our building's lobby, shrouded in a hood, I tailed her cab to a trendy bar downtown. Through the fogged glass, I watched her meet Alex, their laughter mingling with jazz notes spilling out. Fury blinded me momentarily, but I snapped photos from afar, evidence mounting. Back home, alone with the storm's rumble, obsession peaked. I'd build a case, then strike, not impulsively, but with cold precision. Doubt crept. What if this destroys me too? Moral grayness enveloped me. Revenge felt justified, yet tainted. As night fell, the city lights blurring in the rain, resolve solidified. She'd pay, quietly, irrevocably. The argument's echo lingered, fueling my dissent. Sarah's casual cruelty had fractured us, but my response would reshape everything. Tension built in stolen moments. Her late returns, my feigned sleep as I listened to her whispers on the phone. Hidden motives surfaced. Was Alex the only one? Resentment bred paranoia, every glance suspect. Yet, in quiet calculations I mapped retaliation. Not destruction, but exposure. Anonymous tips to her boss about office affairs, timed for maximum impact. Fear of backlash nagged, but poetic justice beckoned. The slow burn smoldered, suspense coiling tighter. By week's end, the plan crystallized. I'd wait for her next late night, then act. But as I lay in bed, her breathing even beside me, guilt resurfaced, a human anchor. Was this love's remnant, or vengeance's shadow? The moral conflict intensified, layering my resolve with cracks. Still, the betrayal's wound throbbed, demanding closure. The stage was set, the fracture complete. The bar's neon glow reflected in puddles outside, a garish red that matched the rage pulsing in my temples. It was Friday, her team-building night, but I knew better. From across the street, huddled in a doorway with rain slicking my coat, I watched Sarah slip inside, her laugh carrying on the wind as Alex greeted her with a too-familiar hug. My phone's camera captured it all. Timestamps, angles, building my arsenal. Heartbreak had evolved into a numb obsession, each photo a brick in the wall of my resolve. Back in the apartment, the silence pressed in, broken only by the fridge's hum and distant thunder. I uploaded the files to a burner account, anonymous and untraceable, my fingers trembling not from fear, but anticipation. Moral conflict gnawed. This could ruin lives, including mine if discovered. But her words replayed. Only option, fueling the fire. Saturday dawned gray, the city awakening with honks and pedestrian chatter filtering through our window. Sarah slept in, her face peaceful in repose, a stark contrast to the turmoil she'd unleashed. I made coffee, the bitter brew mirroring my mood, and feigned normalcy as she stirred. "Morning," she murmured, stretching with that lazy grace I'd once adored. Now it repulsed me, a facade hiding deceit. "Plans today?" I asked casually, my voice steady despite the suppressed rage. She hesitated, eyes flicking to her phone. "Maybe shopping." "You." Lies always lies. Tension heightened as we navigated the day. Grocery runs where her distracted texts grated, lunch where her forced smiles revealed cracks. Inside, my thoughts churned. Send the emails now? Wait for more proof. Doubt intruded, fantasies of reconciliation clashing with resentment's grip. That afternoon, alone while she ran errands, I delved deeper. Her cloud storage, synced carelessly, yielded gold. Messages, photos, a timeline of betrayal stretching months. Humiliation resurfaced, vivid and choking. Dates overlapping our anniversaries. Inside jokes mocking my obliviousness. I copied everything, my heart racing as thunder rumbled outside, the storm mirroring my inner gale. Obsession peaked. This wasn't just revenge, it was reclamation. But guilt shadowed. Exposing her could cost her job, friends, everything. Was I the villain now? Moral grayness blurred lines. Her betrayal justified it, yet my cold planning felt obsessive, unhealthy. Fear of consequences loomed. What if she traced it back? Still, resolve pushed forward, the plan evolving. Anonymous packet to her HR, CC to Alex's wife. Poetic, precise. Evening brought confrontation's edge. Sarah returned flushed, scent of wine on her breath. "Good day?" I asked, voice laced with subtle accusation. She nodded too quickly, unpacking bags with forced chatter. Dinner simmered on the stove, aromas of garlic and herbs clashing with the apartment's tense air. As we ate, dialogue sharpened. "You've been distant," she said, fork clinking against plate. "Is something wrong?" Manipulation gleamed in her eyes, but I met it head-on. "Just thinking about respect," I replied evenly, echoing our argument. Her laugh, that laugh, escaped, nervous now. "Oh, come on, that was nothing." Rage flared, but I suppressed it, letting suspense build. "Was it?" My question hung, pregnant with unspoken knowledge. She shifted, secrets surfacing in her unease. Night deepened, the city lights casting long shadows across our living room. We watched a movie, but my mind plotted. Her head on my shoulder felt like betrayal's weight, resentment boiling beneath. As she dozed, I slipped away, finalizing the email on my laptop in the dim study glow. Attachments loaded, photos, chats, each click a step toward reckoning. Inner conflict raged. Send and there's no return. Fantasies of her humiliation tempted, but doubt whispered of regret. Guilt layered on. This was obsession, not justice. Yet her casual cruelty demanded it. With a deep breath I hit send, the whoosh sound like a released arrow. Cold resolve settled, but fear followed. What now? Sunday unraveled slowly, suspense a living thing. Sarah's phone buzzed incessantly, her face paling as she checked messages. Work stuff, she muttered, but tension etched her features. I observed quietly, the apartment's air thick with anticipation. By noon she paced. Calls incoming, HR, perhaps Alex. What's going on? I asked innocently, heart pounding. She snapped. Nothing you need to worry about, but suppressed rage cracked her voice. Revelations trickled. Someone's spreading lies, she confessed later, crumbling on the couch. Manipulation turned to please. You believe me, right? My nod was a lie. Inner triumph warring with pity. Moral complexity hit. Her tears humanized her, motivations clearer. Boredom, thrill-seeking, but betrayal's scar remained. Climax built as details emerged. HR investigation. Alex's marriage imploding. Sarah confronted me tearfully. Did you do this? Denial came easy, but her eyes searched mine, suspicion heightening drama. Why would I? I countered, voice steady. Inside, obsession gave way to guilt's flood. Had I gone too far? Her world cracked. Job on the line, friends distancing. Yet, as she raged, secret spilled. It was just fun, okay? You were safe. Humiliation reignited, justifying everything. Tension peaked in our final argument, words flying like shrapnel. You think you're my only option? I echoed mockingly, her face draining of color. Realization dawned, but too late. The twist struck Monday morning. As Sarah packed to leave, fired, exposed, I found a note in her drawer dated months ago. Plans to end us, string me along for stability while pursuing Alex. But deeper, a confession. Guilt over using me, fear of loneliness. My revenge, though satisfying, backfired psychologically. I'd become the mirror of her cruelty. Poetic justice soured. Her downfall brought no peace, only hollow victory. As the door closed behind her, rain starting anew, cold resolve shattered into regret. Betrayal avenged, but at what cost? The apartment echoed empty. My obsession's remnants a bitter companion. Unexpected consequences lingered. In ruining her, I'd fractured myself irreparably.